You have big dreams of losing weight and creating a healthy, joyful life. But you find yourself craving sugar, caught up in what the scale says, and diet hopping. Dieting is the old way of losing weight. And the good news is I'm going to give you a new way of eating so you can ditch diets for good and build a healthy relationship with real food. My name is Megan Olson, certified nutrition practitioner, creator of Skinny Fitalicious, and your host of the Dish on Diets show.
Hello, friends. I've got another client on the podcast for you today. Her name is Robin. Robin came to work with me in May of 2023. And when Robin first started working with me, one of the very first things I remember her telling me was that she thought her metabolism was broken. And I said to her, if your metabolism were broken, you would be dead. I don't think a lot of women realize this, but I do think a lot of women think that their metabolisms are broken. And in Robin's case, her metabolism wasn't broken. Her mindset actually was. And so Robin's got some great pieces of advice for all of you today. Those of you who've been dieting for a long time and struggling to figure this stuff out. She's going to talk about some mindset stuff. She's going to talk about protein and fiber and how she builds some of her meals, how she looked at her meals differently, how she walks. She's just got a wealth of information to share with you. So anyways, here's Robin. Enjoy today's episode. Hi, Robin.
Hey, Megan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? It's so good to have you on the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Sure. So tell us a little bit about yourself, whatever you feel comfortable with.
All right. I'm 52. I have 2 children. I've been married for over 22 years. Love summertime, live in the Midwest, so we enjoy our summer, spring, and fall because winter is pretty hard. But yeah, it's got a great life. Can't complain.
Good. Well, we're all here today to talk about your weight loss journey, and you have a really relatable journey that I think a lot of the listeners can relate to, and I think you're going to be able to provide them with a lot of insight and like what really shifted for you and your journey. So just kind of walk everybody through like where did your journey start and how did you end up here? How many years have you been dealing with this, et cetera?
Sure. Okay. Well, I think it feels like I've been dealing with it forever.
Yeah.
But yeah, back in my 20s, I guess, I was always very careful, of what you eat, even though it's still, you're younger, right? So it just kind of, you can handle it better. And then in my 30s and 40s, you start doing low carb because that's, what you hear. And then there used to be a curves workout where you would go on stations. I did that for a few years. And then I got into Ideal Protein, which works really well. You can lose everything because you're not eating anything. All you eat is like vegetables and protein and then their food, which is very expensive. But with that, I think I lost like 40 pounds and like 20 some inches. So it was great. You lose it and you lose it fast. So it's that, that instant gratification that everybody wants.
Yeah. You lose it, but you can't eat anything.
No. So the minute you go out to eat and maybe you have pizza party or you have a child's birthday or something like that, it's going to throw you off. Right? So that obviously is never going to work long term ever. So then I thought, okay, so my sister always did CrossFit. So I'm like, okay, let's do a hard workout. Let's do this. Let's get it taken care of. Let's lose the weight. I did CrossFit in my 40s for 2.5 years. I did not lose 1 pound.
Wow.
2.5 years of getting up at 5 a.m., 4 days a week, not 1 pound.
Wow.
I'm surprised I stayed with it as long as I did, but I'm like, it'll work. You just keep telling yourself, but it never changed. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to be done with that. Then I started Singular, which a friend had done it, and it's really expensive. It's just an expensive way of saying low carb. They make you take all these pills, and it's like $300 a month, and it's crazy. So I did that for a couple months, and it was just like, okay, this is not working. This is expensive, and it's not working. So then I went to a place in South Dakota. It's called Eakin. It's Nike spelled backwards, but they they do your internal water weight, like you weigh, but they also have like the intercellular waters and your
Mm.
BMI, they figure all of that stuff for you. So they tell you like how many proteins, how much you should eat, carbs, fats, all that stuff. And they kept wanting me to eat more and more. And I'm like, I want to lose weight. I don't want to buff up. And they kept saying, oh, your metabolism is broken and it's
Huh.
not working. And you had told me I would be dead if that happened. So
Right.
it's like you can't have a broken metabolism. So I think with them, I put on another 10 or so pounds, and it's like, okay, this is not working either. And I ended up going to a chiropractor, and it was a gal, and she was really nice. And I said something jokingly about, well, if there's any kind of crack in the back you can do that can jumpstart my metabolism. And she also did acupuncture. So, and granted, now this has been going on for probably 10, 15 years, right, of
Mm.
trying different things. So then she's like, I bet you your hormones, because I had told her I did CrossFit and everything. And she goes, your hormones are messed up. And I didn't even think of that because no doctor ever tells you that, like ever. They're just always like, even when I was doing CrossFit, I could barely sit. Your legs are killing you. Everything is just sore. My one doctor said, oh, just walk on the days that you don't do CrossFit. I'm like, oh my goodness, lady, I can barely sit without being in pain. Like I'm always sore because CrossFit is hard. Um, so then we did acupuncture for a few months. I didn't notice any difference, but then she's like, you should really just do a hormone test.
Huh.
So that started me researching hormones, and the funny thing is my cortisol was high. And
Mm.
granted, I don't have stress in my life. I have good kids, I have a good job, great husband. I don't have stress, but internally my body apparently does. So then what I find out is hard workout like CrossFit and that kind of stuff will raise your cortisol.
Mhm.
So I did not know that. Um, so I guess it kind of makes sense now that you've all explained that to me. But since my cortisol is high, okay, then I started going to this other doctor, and he suggested ashwagandha. I think that's how
Mhm.
you say it.
Yep.
Okay, to lower it. So I did that for 6, 8 months, and just kind of did a little bit of walking. I didn't do anything, steadily per day, just kind of whenever I had time. And then I started researching high cortisol, how to lose weight with high cortisol. And then I found your website, and the rest is history.
Ha! That's funny. How you found me, that's funny. Okay.
It is, because I apparently put in the right keywords, and then I started
Ah,
listening to your podcast, and everything you were saying, it's like, oh my gosh, that is me. That is me. I do that too. And it was just like, huh, okay. You must know what you're talking about, because everything that you would say on your podcast were things that I did to myself.
what were some of the things I was saying?
A lot of it was just because you have one bad meal. Like, let's say you start your morning and it's somebody's birthday, or you just went out and you had donuts.
Mm.
So then instead of, okay, maybe I can quick eat a protein, or maybe I can just have a shake or a protein bar or something like that, it's like, ugh, the whole day is shot. So then I would eat like the whole day was shot. Or if it was a long weekend and I knew we were going to be outside and it was summer and we are going to have a couple beers, it's like, oh, I already screwed up on Friday. It's Sunday. It doesn't matter what I do. And there you have it. Instead, you can always fix, even if you have one bad meal, you can still fix the day.
Yep.
And you honed in on that so many times, where it's easy for our mind to tell us, oh, you screwed up. You just messed up the whole day. So then you actually believe that you messed up the whole day, even though it was 9 a.m. and you could easily fix it. Just eat a little bit more protein, get your fiber in, and you're good to go. But your mind doesn't believe that, because it's so much easier to go back into your habits.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. It's always funny because if you look at it objectively, it's like, really, did one meal or even one week
I
like ruin everything? Like, really? Like, does that make even
right.
any sense? Like, we're adults and yet still our minds like play these tricks and are like, you ate pizza at this party. You ruined everything. The sky is falling. Oh
Mhm.
my gosh. Like, it's so crazy that we think that way if you actually look at it that
Mhm.
objectively.
It is. And the other thing that you honed in on is failure is just quitting. Failure isn't having one bad day,
Yeah.
one meal, one and life is life. So there are days where, okay, I didn't get 10,000 steps in, I was close, but I didn't. And one day it's like, oh, I only got 5,000 steps in, that was bad. But it's like, it's okay because it's life and things happen. You get busy. And sometimes you're in the car for 16 hours because you're driving on vacation. Like, it's just not, maybe it won't happen every day, but the key is to keep it as steady as possible.
Right. Right. So basically, some of these things were things you were picking out of my podcast, and you were hearing some of
Hmm.
these concepts and realizing, oh, this is me.
Yes.
Okay. So
So
at
then
what
I was
point,
like,
well, like what, at what point were you like, I got to call Megan?
I think it was after either the second or third podcast, and I was like, and then I would go to your calendar page. I think I like, thank goodness you could not tell how many times I stalked your calendar page because I kept refreshing. I am not kidding you. I bet you I refreshed like 10 or 15 times a day. Like I work from home, so I had my personal computer off to the side, and I would just refresh every now and then just to see if there was an openings. Because it always on your website it says come back because you are busy and your slots fill up fast. So I just kept refreshing, and then the one day it was like I saw an opening. I was like, oh my gosh! And then it was just okay. So I quick put in my information so nobody else would take it. And then you and I talked, and yeah, and here we are today, almost not quite a year later.
Almost. Yeah. May 2023.
Almost.
That's when we started working together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we're having this
Yeah.
conversation April 2024. So it's almost been
I
a
know.
year. Wow. Isn't that crazy?
It is crazy. It went fast.
It did go fast. Yeah. And we'll get to your results really quick because, and everything you've learned. But I guess let's go back to all these diets and all these things you were talking about. I guess when you look back now at these things that you were trying to do to lose weight previously, what do you think were the problems? Why couldn't you sustain them? I mean, you had really good results, like with that ideal program that you
Hmm.
mentioned. Like what was not sustainable about some of these things?
I think what I guess I can just say from my perspective is I hear the word diet, right? And it's like,
Mhm.
okay, I have to eat celery and carrots. Like that's all I can eat. And then carrots have a lot of sugar, so you can't even eat a lot of carrots. But I think the word diet in our most women's brains, it's like it's something that is hard. Like it's,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want to go back on the diet again. Where in the last year, not one time have I ever felt like, oh my goodness, I'm on a diet. I never once felt that. Like I eat, I mean, do you eat what you want? Yeah, but you have to make smart choices, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't be here today, correct? Um, so you do want an end goal, right? And my end goal was to be able to do anything and everything with my family, be there for them, and just be present and not be too tired or not can't do that hike or can't do certain thing. I wanted to always um, be there and have them be proud of me and me being proud of myself.
Hmm.
So the big thing was like ideal protein is a perfect example. There is no way that you can live your whole entire life because carbs, you need carbs. Like you always hear carbs are bad. They're not bad. Your muscles actually need
Yep.
carbs. Kids need carbs. You need carbs in your body, and every food has carbs, right? Some are good carbs. Some like potato chips, probably not the best carb. Broccoli and cauliflower, a better carb. And there's so many things you can do with just different types of food, like plain Greek yogurt. If you mix that with some dry ranch seasoning, oh my
Yep.
goodness, it
So
makes like
good.
the best sour cream. Yes, and it's no fat pretty much, and you
Hmm.
added just more protein to your meal. So it's almost like little tricks and trades that you've also taught me on what is, reading the label obviously is very
Hmm.
important because there's all those added sugars. And then, because I think the one I showed you that we had that one exercise, oh, it was baked beans, Bush's baked beans. They are good. They are yummy. But
Yeah.
all of the added sugar, I guess I've always kind of read the labels, but maybe I don't pay attention to it if it's not what I want to see. Kind of, your mind kind of
Yeah.
plays tricks on you. And it's like, oh, that's like 20, it was like 20 plus grams of added sugar. It's like, oh, I should not buy these anymore. You know what I mean? Once
Mhm.
when somebody points out what you're doing, you see it so much clearer.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, awareness is everything.
Hmm.
Awareness. A lot of
And
times we
I'll,
don't realize the things we're doing.
right. And like ideal protein, it's like no dairy, no fruit.
Yeah.
And fruit's actually good for you. So all it is vegetables and protein, and then their protein packets. And it's different. You can have shakes, you can have bars, there's all kinds of different stuff. But every single bar you eat or every single shake, that one meal was $7. That gets expensive too, but it's instant and it works. So for people like me who was like, okay, if I don't see a result, it used to be if I don't see a result in like 2 weeks, then this isn't working. Like you don't give yourself enough time to actually make a change. Like it's so easy to give up
Oh, yeah, for
because we've
sure.
done it our whole entire life.
Well, and like you said, a lot of women, when you hear like, I got to get on the diet or I got to lose weight, their brain automatically goes to, I got to punish myself. This is going to suck.
Hmm. Right. Right.
Right? It's got to suck. Otherwise, I'm not
Yep.
going to get results. It's got to. And no one believes you until they really, like somebody like you, right, starts to explain, no,
Yep.
it doesn't have to be that way. It's actually something that doesn't suck. You can actually figure out how to enjoy things.
Right. Oh, exactly. And that's like with CrossFit. I thought the only way I could lose weight is if I push my body. And
Yeah.
man, there was times like I couldn't even sneeze because my stomach was so sore from doing, like, oh my gosh.
Wow.
And like you can't sit for, CrossFit's hard. Like it
Yeah.
is like there was a lot of 20-year-olds in there and they looked amazing. Like they were fit. They could do pull-ups. I couldn't do a pull-up. If somebody was after me and they told me I could live my life if I did a pull-up, I'd be dead. Like there was no way I was doing a pull-up. And they would do like 15 or 20 of them. I'm like, I don't know how you guys can pull up your body. And there's little things, like
Mm,
they're petite, cute little girl. It's just like, oh my goodness, these women are amazing. Like I could never do that.
yeah.
It's yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the main thing is with some of these other things you were doing, right, to lose weight previously, like ideal protein and, doing
Mhm.
the low carb stuff. I mean, can you really do
Mhm.
those things for the rest of your life? Like, what do you do when you go out with your family? Like, bring one of their protein packs with you? Like, what are you supposed to do? You know?
That was hard. It was pretty much a salad with very little dressing, and you
Ugh.
would add extra like maybe grilled chicken or something like that. I also did. There was this lady on Facebook that it's called Eat Like a Bear. I think she has a book too,
Huh.
where what do you call it? You fast for so
Uh-huh.
long, like you only eat during like a 4 hour period, and then you eat everything.
Ugh.
So then I was like, then you try that, but then you're starving either late at night or early in the morning because you fasted for so long. And I don't think that's good for your body either, but I don't know. But
No.
that didn't work either. There's so many different gimmicks. And now, there's this keto pill apparently you can just
Yeah.
eat.
That's new to
Okay.
me. That's new to me.
there's there's always these gimmicks to lure us in.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll work. And most of us want, or at least me, I always wanted, oh, if this will work and I can lose 10 pounds in a week, that's amazing. But the back of your brain knows that's not healthy. Like if you lose it that fast, you're going to put it back on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you have to change your habits. And
Right.
changing habits is
Hmm.
not very easy, especially if you're coming into it thinking it's supposed to be a punishment.
Right.
So the thinking has to really change more than anything else, and the approach, right? We can't cut things out
Hmm.
that we love,
Right.
right?
Because that will not last because you're missing something.
Hmm. Yeah,
Like when you crave something, if you deny yourself that, you will eat more than if you
yep,
just have a little bit of it. It's okay.
exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
I think I don't know if you think this too, but I think there's also like this misinterpretation that a lot of people have that they have to eat like perfectly healthy day in and day out to get weight loss. Like no bad
Hmm.
foods ever. Nothing like pizza, ice cream, chips. You can't ever eat any of that stuff. And if you do, you're never going to lose weight.
Right. Yep.
Right? I think a lot of people
Mhm.
interpret that's what they have to do to lose weight. But I'm like, do you really think that anybody who's healthy and fit, like, do you think they would ever manage their weight if that were true?
No. Oh, it would be impossible.
I think it'd be really, really tough. Really, really tough. So I guess what are some of the things like that changed for you? Like on this journey, I mean, did we cut out your carbs? What did we do for you?
We keep track of what I eat. So, and which is very easy. I just monitor what I eat. I can see how much fiber and protein I'm getting in a day, carbs and the fat. I don't really per se worry about those as long as my calories are in there. We make sure I walk. Again, like I said, it's not perfect, and neither is my.
Mm.
People could look at my food log and see, oh, okay, yep, I had somebody's birthday, or we went out to and had a pizza buffet. Okay, but now you just make different choices, but you still eat the pizza, but maybe you start with the salad. It's just different stuff like that. And so we track what I eat, make sure I have my protein and my fiber in, make sure I am walking every day. And like you said, your body just has to know it's consistent. And I think that's why I have not retested my cortisol, but if I had to guess, I would say it's normal, within the normal range, because I don't know if you want me to get to this part yet or not, but I'm kind of excited. But in less than a year, I am down 22 and a half inches. And
Mhm.
most all of that, except for two, is off my waist, my thighs, and my hips. That's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. Yeah, you've basically lost like a person.
I for sure lost at least a pant size, if not
Yeah,
more.
yeah, it's
So
pretty amazing.
but yeah, and the fiber, I think for me, that was like the hardest, because you start looking when you have to pay attention to fiber. It's like, I think you and we set me at 25 grams. It's like, oofta. Like broccoli, you eat vegetables and you eat fruit, but then like raspberry has the most fibers for fruit. And um, I have a egg wrap for breakfast every morning, and the carb balance egg wrap has 25 grams of fiber. So like my fibers hit, my protein is very high in the morning. So my big thing is, like breakfast, I hit everything. And if we have cinnamon rolls, like on Christmas Eve or Christmas morning, I always make cinnamon rolls, but I still eat my normal breakfast, and then I'll have a half or one cinnamon roll, depending on if I want to splurge or not. But then that's okay, because I already have my fiber and my protein in. So then I just eat a little bit less during the day, so I stay within my calories.
Hmm. You make it sound so
So
easy.
it never used to be.
Yeah.
Now it just kind of makes sense. But, your coaching calls are amazing. They're very helpful. They keep you on track. And you're always kind of thinking, okay, should I eat this? Should I not? What should I get out there and walk? Did I get my steps in? You're always kind of thinking, I don't plan my meals out for the week, but I do see what I have, what I can make, and how much protein I still need to eat. So it's like, okay, the kids want a cheese pizza. Okay, well, if I can have that, but then I need to add like Canadian bacon, pepperoni, you can always make a meal a little bit healthier.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I think the big thing that we work on for me was making sure I was always consistent,
Mm-hmm.
for like the walking and stuff, the counting, making sure I'm keeping track of my calories if I'm in a deficit or if I'm just eating normal. And like in the last year since you and I have talked, never once have we brought up like it's not a diet. Like I've never felt ever like
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did I give
I'm not.
you like a list of foods and say you can't eat these foods? Did
No.
I do
Mm-mm.
that? Did I
Mm-mm.
say these are the
Mm-mm.
foods you must eat?
Nope. Nope.
Nope. I didn't do
It's
any
like
of that.
eat what you enjoy, and I love cereal, but I don't eat a lot of it because it's mostly carbs and not protein. So when I'm not on my calorie deficit, then it's like, oh, I could have like, 1 cup of cereal, and I sometimes crave that, but I can eat that and I can still eat it when I'm on my deficit.
Yeah.
It's just I have to then worry about, making sure I hit my protein, but no food per se is off the table. Nothing is
Nope.
off the table.
Nope. Nothing's off the table. You're just trying to hit your
Mhm.
protein and fiber, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it
there's
sounds so
probably,
easy.
it sounds so easy. So I guess the question is, because I know we had to work a lot on your mindset when you first started
Yes.
working with me, and we had to kind of clear up a lot of diet confusion you had.
Mhm.
I mean, I guess how did you get your mindset to this place where, like earlier you were saying, I screwed up, why bother? And some of these
Yep.
things were kind of going on. Like, how did we get your mindset to a place where you were able to actually work on things like protein and fiber in your calorie deficit?
I think with listening to your podcast and our coaching calls really put to rest, like, oh, it's okay if I have a bad day. Oh, yeah, you know what? It was my daughter's birthday, and I had two pieces of cake because they were really good. And of course, I needed the corner because that has all the frosting. Because, like, let's face it, that's the best part of the cake. So then it's like, oh, I didn't screw up my day. You know what? If I look at my calorie thing, yep, my maybe my calories were a little bit higher that day. So
Mhm.
that's okay. Let's just see once I have some chicken breasts in the fridge. I can just eat some chicken breasts, just to get my protein up there. So the big thing was all of that self doubt, and it's so easy just to say, oh, I can't do this. Oh, this is not working. Instead of blaming everything else, like, oh, my kids wanted to go eat at the pizza buffet. Oh, my kids wanted to do this. Instead of blaming everybody else, take the blame yourself and say, you know what, you didn't want to do this. You did not want this. It wasn't anybody else's fault. It was mine. So once I kind of took ownership of it, then
Mm.
it was my choice, not anybody else's. It was mine. I decided that I wasn't going to eat good that day. Okay.
Mhm.
So one day was bad. Maybe we were on vacation. Maybe we had company over. Maybe it was a graduation party. Okay, that's fine. There's always tomorrow. There's always a day. You can always do better the next day and the next day. And I think it just, you get into that habit, and after a while, it's just normal. Just like the bad habits that we had, it's just normal once you start doing the good habits to keep doing them.
Mhm. Mhm.
And then you start to see the results. And I think when you and I first started talking, I think every time we talked, it was always like, okay, when am I going to lose weight? When can I start? You remember? I was always,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
I think like every time, it was like every 10 minutes we talked about, or I talked about, okay, let's lose this weight. And then you had made a comment one time, you do talk about weight loss a lot. And then that kind of made me, after we got off that call, I'm like, you know what? I do. And I'm healthy. I have nothing wrong with me. Family's healthy. It's like I should just love my life now. I do want to get healthier, but I'm in a good spot now. You know what I mean? So then it was like that really kind of was a wake up call, I think, for me, where we'll get there. We'll get there, but we have to fix my mindset first. And then once that was fixed, and I think it was the first time, um, I don't even remember if we did. I don't think we even did the deficit yet, but you had asked me to take measurements. We did it when I started, right? And
Yep.
then that first time, I think I was down 8 inches, and I think I was just in shock. Like, all I did, because we hadn't started the deficit yet, and all I did was walk every day,
And get
and
your protein.
just and we started keeping track of protein and fiber.
Yep.
And it wasn't like I couldn't eat any. I could always eat anything, but it wasn't like, okay, let's do a little bit of calorie deficit. We weren't even there yet. And when we measured, it was 8 inches. Like,
Mhm.
that was like, okay, I didn't even have to break a sweat. You know what I mean? It was just like this, how is this so easy and it's finally working? Like,
Yeah.
then it was like, now when I take measurements, we meet every 6 weeks or whatever, 4, 6 weeks. And, like for this last time, I lost another inch. Now the old me would have been like, oh,
That's
it's only an
nothing.
inch, really?
Right.
And now it's like, oh my gosh, I lost another inch.
Right.
It's not, I don't need that, um, what do you want to call it? Where, oh my, I need to lose 5 pounds. I need to lose 5 pounds. It's not like a rush. It's like it's coming off and it's going to be slow. You and I talked. This is a turtle race. There is no bunnies involved. It's going to be slow and steady, and that's how we're going to win, right?
Yeah.
So
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember you telling me in one of our coaching sessions, well, you said the turtle race thing, and I have, coined that phrase to other people too
Good,
that I coach. I'm like, it's a
good.
turtle race. So you came up with that phrase, which thank you for that. But one of our coaching calls, I wrote in my notes that you thought I was going to have you that I was going to have a magic pill to help you lose weight as fast
Hmm.
as possible. Right? You just thought I was going to have some
Yep,
kind of magic, like I'm going to sprinkle you with this fairy dust, and here we
yep,
go. And
yep.
you said once you finally accepted that it was a turtle race, that
Hmm.
you were finally able to just settle in and work on your habits and work the process and
Yep,
just kind of accept that this is how it's supposed to go and enjoy it. Right? I mean, so
yep.
yeah, I thought that was pretty funny that you thought I had a magic pill.
I was sure hoping you did.
Yeah. I wish I
But
did
now,
sometimes. I know it'd make my job a lot easier. I wouldn't have to coach so hard.
but now it's just like it's just like eating breakfast with a lot of protein and a lot of fiber. That's my go-to. Like
Yeah.
it's, and if we're busy on a weekend, it's like, okay, maybe I don't quite get it in, but then maybe I'll have a wrap for lunch with chicken and stuff, then I get it in there. But I don't have to eat anything I don't like, which is
Yep.
awesome. I do eat the foods that I do enjoy. And every now and then, yes, you're gonna do the big supper or you're gonna do the dessert. That's okay. That's
Mhm.
not a problem.
I think a lot
So
of
I
people think they messed up when they do those kinds of things.
right, right. And you don't. There's nothing
Nope.
one bad day is not gonna put on 10 pounds.
Nope.
One good day isn't gonna lose 10 pounds.
Nope.
It's it's totally okay.
No. And like you said, when you first came to me and you were telling me about whatever that program was, that weird program that you were doing, and
Zingler, yes.
that your metabolism was broken. And I was like, well, if your
Oh,
metabolism is broken, you'd be dead
yeah.
because you can't be alive if you have a broken metabolism. I think a lot of probably women listening to this call probably are in that camp of thinking the same thing. They probably think
Mhm.
my metabolism just doesn't work. And it's like, well, probably not. It's probably maybe your mindset isn't working. Maybe you quit,
Right.
right? When you think you had like too much at dinner or you overate, you quit.
Mhm.
So maybe it's the mindset that's broken, not your metabolism.
Right. Oh yes, exactly. When you had told me that, I was like, "Oh, thank goodness, I can be saved. This can finally
Mm,
work."
yeah. Unfortunately, there's so many like things out there, like weird things out there. And I think they kind of send these messages like you're broken. You are this
Mhm.
older woman and you're just broken
Yep.
and you're headed towards menopause or you're in menopause and you're a broken person. It's your cortisol, it's this, it's that, it's your metabolism, like whatever it is these days, right? Because I'm always hearing
Right.
new things. But it's like it almost makes you feel really terrible as a midlife woman, like, oh
Mhm.
my God, this is going to be so impossible to get healthy and take care of myself and lose some body fat. I'm so broken.
Yep. Oh yeah. And you're told that over and over, so you think it's you. Like it's always,
Yeah.
"Oh, I did mess up. It is me. I broke it. It's my fault." And it's not. It's
Nope.
yeah.
Nope.
No, it's fixable and you can do it. You're a great coach and you are very patient with people. And
Aw,
like I said, look where I am now compared to last year.
I know. I know. Imagine if you hadn't done this last year.
Oh, I know. I'd probably be larger.
Mm. And who knows what
Yeah,
diet you'd be doing.
right. The next, whatever the new thing is,
Yep.
there's
Whatever
always
it is.
something that lures people in because it gives you false hope. You want to believe something. It's like
Yeah.
that last lifeline. It's like, okay, hopefully this will work. Hopefully this will work. And you just keep chasing that balloon that's going in the wind and you'll never catch it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think like you said, we get kind of hopeful that this is going to work, but I don't think we also think about like, well, what am I going to do? Like, am I going to continue to fast and only eat 4 hours a day until I'm 85 years old?
Mhm.
Or am I going to continue to cut out all carbs and not eat any of the favorite foods that I like until I'm 85 years old? Like, what are we going to do? Like, you lose weight, you're going to have to continue doing those things. So, like, what are you going to do? You're going to continue doing those things? Like, I don't think we even think about that because we're just so desperate to find something.
Exactly. Yes, I agree.
Mm.
Yep.
Was it hard for you? Like when you started, I'm just curious, like when we started, we worked on protein and just getting steps. Was it hard for you to do some of those things?
No, because I had kind of done all of that in the past with all of the other ones.
Hmm.
But just the way they had you do it, it just never like worked. But I always knew, you always know in the back of your head, we're smart females, right? So we know we have to eat protein. We know we have to not have a lot of fat. We know that some carbs are good, right? Everybody knows
Hmm.
chips aren't good for you. Everybody knows Oreos aren't good for us. So it's like we know that. But it helps to have somebody like tell us, Robin, this is what I need you to do. I want you to um, make sure you get this much protein in a day, and I want you to make sure you get this much fiber in a day. Oh, okay. So then you start searching for foods that have more. It's almost like we just need that push of, okay, this is what I need to do, and this will hopefully help me as long as I'm patient. Just like when we started walking, it's like I don't need, do some weightlifting, just to keep your muscle tone. But, just start with walking 10 minutes a
Hmm.
day, 15 minutes a day, whatever you can commit to
Hmm.
every day. So it wasn't, and maybe it's just because by the time we're my age, most women, we've gone through so many different diets where it's like, okay, we do know what we need to do. We're just not doing it
Hmm.
either all the time. Like for me, it was repetition. I wasn't always worried about that.
Hmm. Yeah.
So because if you don't really pay attention to how much protein you eat, and you have, like, let's say for lunch, you have a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, there's very little protein in that, like
Mhm.
very little. So then by the end of the day, you're probably only eating 50 to 60 grams of protein, depending on what you're eating.
Right.
You're not getting what you need until you really pay attention to what you eat.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, I don't think we realize either as we're making supper, oh, I'll just have a piece of cheese, or I'll just have, I'm just going to have a little snack. You don't realize how much those calories add up until you
Mhm.
start counting them. Like, so everything that goes in your mouth, it's like, oh, I'm getting close to my limit now. So it's easy just to say, oh, that doesn't count. Even though we put it in our mouth, it's like, oh,
Mhm.
that doesn't count. It's just a little bite.
Mm.
Or if I eat like a half a piece of a bar, it's like, well, that doesn't work because it was only 2 bites. Well, yeah, it counts,
It all adds up. I know. I kind
Yeah.
of joke that I think some women have food amnesia because it's just like what you're describing, right? That doesn't count. I just ate a little thing. No, that doesn't count. But at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of the month, when you look at your averages, right?
Hmm.
Average calories, average
Hmm.
protein, fiber, all that stuff adds up, right? So, um,
That it does. That it does.
yeah, I do remember when you and I started working together, you said you weren't very hungry all the time. Do you remember that?
No, I really wasn't. Yeah.
Hmm.
And I don't know why, and maybe just because I was always eating enough that I wasn't hungry.
Hmm.
But now, when we would go to a calorie deficit, it's like, oh my gosh, that's like hunger pains. I haven't felt that forever. It was like I thought I was broke. And so it was awesome to feel that. It wasn't like I was hadn't eaten in 2 weeks where I was starving. It was just like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. So then it's like, it's lunchtime. Okay, let's eat. So that was awesome, actually.
Yeah. So we're not actually starving you, just to be clear, right?
No, you were not.
Good. Good.
At
It's
all.
manageable hunger. That's what I like to call it. Manageable.
Yes. Yep.
Good.
Yep. Exactly.
Yep. You should always be able to get meal to meal.
Hmm.
Good. Good. So I
Yeah.
guess what do you think are some of the important things you've learned on your journey? What are kind of the highlights?
The only time you fail is if you just quit and give up.
Hmm.
Anything else is doable. So you had the bad meal, no problem. Make up, do better on the next meal. You didn't get your walk in today, no big deal. Walk tomorrow. But failure is just quitting. The only time you fail is if you quit. The other thing is keep track of everything, and um, especially food wise, keep track of your food. If I bought one of those. I know a lot of people have like the smart watches. I just like my old watch, so I just bought one of those. I forget what they're called, but they keep track of your steps. You know what I mean?
Pedometer. Yeah.
Uh, Thank you. Yes. So I just bought one of those, and it was like 7, 8 bucks on Amazon. Not a big deal. So then that way I could keep track of my steps. And the other thing is don't give up. Don't give up on yourself. you're worth that. You are so worth that. And celebrate the small, um, celebrate the small successes, whether it's 1 inch you lost or 8. I'm
Mhm.
ecstatic because then that means I know I didn't put it on. Like where before maybe I would eat a full, if we went out and got crumble cookies, it's like, okay, I don't need the full one, but let me just take a quarter of it because I just want, you just want a little bit. Celebrate that. Then you save the rest for later. Celebrate.
Mhm.
You got to celebrate the small wins. Like your pants are a little bit looser. It's like, and like you told me from the get go, don't step on the scale. I still have yet to step on the scale, and that's okay because everything's sitting looser. I am losing inches. So I know it's not just water weight, it's actually fat. So that's what I want.
Mhm. Yeah, and I really liked what you said too about getting validation from a lot of things and celebrating your wins along the way, like with the crumble cookie, right? I ate a quarter of the
Mhm.
cookie. Like, let me just like
Mhm.
give myself some praise for
Yep.
showing up for myself today and making a choice for, that supports my goals and how I want to be in the future. Right. I think a lot of
Mhm.
times we just kind of focus on the scale and we try to get our validation from the scale and we don't really think about like the fact that you go for a walk. That's like you should be celebrating that. You should be like giving yourself
Mhm.
credit for these little ways that you show up for yourself. If you tracked your food, if you made a different choice, that's all
Mhm.
progress.
Exactly. Yes, it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really proud of you. I'm so happy for you. I mean, you have made a huge transformation in a year, and considering all of the diets and stuff you did coming into this
Yep.
program, like for me, it's a tough job to work with somebody who's kind of got all that baggage because, we have to kind of unlearn all of these things that really
Mhm.
aren't true, and then we have to kind of learn, okay, no, 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 this is the stuff we do, and these are the habits and mindsets we gotta have, right? And so it's kind of tough when somebody has that to really make the type of transformation that you have, Robin. So I mean, I just really want to commend you for all of your hard work. I know it's not been easy. I know you've had your own rough patches and things you've had to learn and figure out. So I
Yep.
mean, you've done a really great job. And as your coach, I'm really proud of you. I really am.
Well, thank you. That means a lot. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So, what would you say to other women? Because there's probably a lot of women just like you. What would you say to them? What would your advice be if they're trying to lose weight? What do you think they need to do or work on?
I would say invest in yourself. Get a good coach and have faith in yourself because you can do it. You may just need that little nudge, but don't give up on yourself.
Yeah, yeah. That's probably the
You
saddest
do an
thing.
amazing job. You can relate and pretty much everything that I've said or you've said I've done. You know what I mean? So it's like you're relatable and you understand exactly where we're coming from. So definitely just go on her website, just stalk her calendar until there's an opening like I did, and then get in there and just visit. Doesn't, just talk to her, see once what you think, and just believe in yourself and give yourself the credit. Just take that step.
Yeah. And it doesn't, I just like to say there's a lot of good coaches out there. I know my calendar is full a lot of times, but
Hmm.
there I think it's really disheartening the number of women I see who are struggling and they come to me and talk to me and then like a year or two later they're still in the same place and then they're reaching out to me and saying, I talked to you a year ago or 2 years ago. I never did anything about this and I'm still in the same place, or I'm in a worse place. Now have pre-diabetes, or I have this other thing going on, or I gained another 50 pounds.
Oh,
It's really
right.
disheartening from my perspective to see so many women
Hmm.
struggling when the help is out there.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And at some point everybody's getting older, right? And just be thankful that we're alive, still here. So you want to get older, but the older we get, I think it is harder, and like I said, I'm in my 50s, and in my 40s did I lose? I lost a bunch, but that was just it's just not sustainable. It's just never gonna stay off. So it sure is easy to put on, you know what I mean? But we also didn't put it on in a day. So just give yourself some credit. You can do this. And the best thing you can do for your family is take care of you. Like
Mhm.
you have to take care of you so you can take care of your family.
Yeah. Yeah. Such good advice. Yeah.
So
And it feels good to take care of you too, right? It doesn't feel like a
it does.
punishment.
Nope. Nope. Like I said, we've never used the word diet. Like
Nope.
I do not literally. So like for me, like every time we start a coaching call, okay, what have you been working on? What's good? Any blockers, any stumblers? And I was always like, no, because it's like I'm not on a diet. Like I don't ever feel like I'm on a diet. Now, do I eat cinnamon rolls every morning? Heavens no, but I never did that before either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I'm still, like you said, you've told me, there's a couple little things that you can do to add more protein. Very simple swaps, or like reading the labels better, or um, like your cookbook. I've done a couple recipes from your cookbook, like your chicken meatballs. Oh my goodness, so yummy, and that's pretty much all protein. And there's all kinds of things online where you can just Google, like canned chicken. If you like canned chicken, like a healthy chicken salad, instead of using regular mayo, use avocado mayo. And then I do half avocado mayo and then half plain Greek yogurt. Yeah, so I mean, there's so many ways
Yeah.
you can just make your favorite meals just a little bit better. Um, Even like cookies, they're um, sugar-free chocolate chips. And I will admit, I have tried them. They're okay. Like they're definitely sugar-free.
I
But I mean,
know.
some things it's just ooh okay. But if you don't like it, then that's okay. Don't eat it. You don't
Yeah.
have to. There's all kinds of like protein powders and protein bars are great if I don't have enough protein, but I try and get it in regular food. You know what I mean? Because I just
Mhm.
know they add so much junk to the bars, but they are a good fill-in when I need them. If
Yep.
I need a bunch of protein, I do. But otherwise, it's like I just chicken. I like fish. I'm in the Midwest, so we always buy a cow and butcher it. So I always have lean hamburger. So it's like there's so many other eggs. I like eggs, and now they make cereal. I found some cereal that has like 10 grams of protein. So
Protein.
yes, so
Mhm.
they're making those too. So it's not like I said, fiber was probably the hardest
Mhm.
for me, Megan, just because nothing has a ton of fiber.
Yeah.
Like you have to eat a lot to get a lot of fiber. So when I found those carb balance wraps, it's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, I got my fiber done. My goal by morning, I'm good. So
What's
that's
yeah.
always a nice, yeah. But everything is doable. It's just how much time do you want to spend? And you should want to spend a lot of time because you're helping you,
Yeah.
and just be realistic, where before when we had started, it's like, okay, but I think I even maybe at the very beginning, okay, can we lose 10 pounds in a month or, can I lose 10 pounds in 2 months? And finally it was like, okay, we need to stop talking about, losing all this weight. And once I did that, it was almost like, oh, I could, it was just like a weight off my shoulders. Like, okay, I don't need to worry about this anymore. It's just going to come off when it comes off.
Yep.
I don't have to worry about my cortisol. I don't have to worry about because I'm not stressing my body out anymore. I'm not starving per se, and I'm not overeating either. I'm just my body should be happy with where it's at.
Mhm. Yeah. I
So,
think something that is really great about what you said, and I really do try to reinforce this with clients, is you basically said it's like I'm just taking the meals that I already make and figuring out how to add protein and how to
mhm,
adjust some things to get fiber. Like I think a lot of times when women try to lose weight, they're like, I need all these recipes. I need recipes. I
right.
need to like spend 1,000 hours on Pinterest and find recipes. And I'm like, well, no, you really don't need to like totally like get rid of all the
No.
meals that you make. You just got to look at the meals you currently make and see what adjustments you can make to those meals, just like you're describing, right?
Mhm.
How can I add a
Mhm.
little bit more protein? And then what are some of the adjustments in like some of the snack foods and other things that I eat that I'm
Right.
willing to make? Like I know for me, if I'm going to have a cookie, I'm not going to eat a sugar-free cookie. No way. That's not even worth it to me. Like I don't
Right.
even, why bother? I want a real cookie, right? And so for
Yep.
some people, the sugar-free one might make sense, but for me personally,
Mhm.
no. right? But it's like, what
Right.
are you willing to do? And this is how you create a way of eating for you that works by looking at
Hmm.
what you currently do. Because is your family really going to be on board with you getting rid of all the recipes? I mean, you said it before, you do like the cinnamon rolls at Christmas. Is your family going to
Hmm.
be okay with you just doing away with that tradition? Like, okay,
Right.
sorry, everybody. Sorry, kids, no cinnamon rolls anymore because we got to get healthy.
Right.
It's not
Right.
going to work.
Right. And there's a balance, and it's like
Yep.
even before I always had a vegetable for supper, and sometimes lunch I buy a lot of spinach because spinach you can throw in anything,
Yep.
just whether you cook it, and if you don't like hot spinach, keep it cold, it's okay, like chicken salad on romaine lettuce is amazing. You don't need the bread if you don't want the bread, but you can
Mhm.
have the bread. It's just really up to you. What maybe it's a wheat bread and maybe it's only one slice because my calorie count would be too high. But you know what I mean? There's so many different ways that you just have to be cautious of it and think about it. And then it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. And it's still just as good as if I made it the other way.
Mhm. Yeah. It's really just being more mindful and getting a
Hmm.
little bit more creative with balancing things. And most people are just aren't used to doing it that way. They're just not used to looking
Right,
at it that way.
right.
They're used to just cutting things out. Let me cut out all my bread, which is funny to me because you were talking about the carb counter tortillas. It's like they have a lot of fiber. Bread has a lot of fiber, whole grain bread. And so I'm always kind of
Hmm.
curious when people are cutting that stuff out. I'm like, why are we cutting this stuff out? Fiber is one of the healthiest nutrients that we can be
Right,
going for, right? I mean,
right.
I don't know. It's
Hmm.
crazy. The world is crazy. I swear everybody's lost their mind when it comes to food.
Yes, they have. I agree totally.
But well, lots of great tidbits of help, I think, today. Lots of good insight from your journey. I just want to say again, I'm really, really proud of you. Happy for you that you've now found a way that works for you. It's not my way. It's not anybody else's way. It's the Robin way, and it's a turtle race. And you've accepted
Yep.
that. And you're just continuing to make progress. And I know you're going to continue to do really well. And thanks for a lot of the insight and tidbits that you've given to the ladies listening today. I feel like there's been a lot of good nuggets of advice here. So thanks for that
Good, good.
perspective. Thanks for coming on, and I appreciate you sharing your journey with everyone.
You're welcome. You're welcome. It was fun. Thank you so much again for taking me on.
You're welcome, Robin. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.
Sounds great.
Hey, if you enjoyed this podcast, you have to come check out my free weight loss class. It's the 5 steps to lasting weight loss, how hormones impact weight loss, and the truth about lasting weight loss without relying on willpower, workouts, or deprivation. Click the link in the show notes to watch that free class today. And if you are a woman over 35 with 20 to 50 or more pounds to lose, schedule a free weight loss breakthrough session with me after you watch that class. And let's talk about your 20 to 50 or more pound weight loss plan.